get started with endocrinology, big subject. And each one of these characters up there have some sort of endocrine disease or condition that we're going to talk about throughout the next few days. We'll get back to those. All right, so we ended off talking about the nervous system. So the endocrine system is kind of a bridge between, well, it's a communication system, just the way the nervous system is. Now, we have this thing called homeostasis. Your body absolutely hates change. And the best way we could start off is let's talk a little bit about the nervous system, and now let's talk about the endocrine system. And we're going to show you the comparisons and contrasts between the two. They're both messenger systems, meaning that this cell is going to tell another cell what to do. So let's talk about the nervous system very briefly to summarize what the whole nervous system was, and then I'll compare it to the endocrine system, why the two are compared between the two. All right, so the nervous system, it acts very rapidly. All right, we're talking about milliseconds, but it's short-lived. So what's happening here is that if I touch something hot, I let go of it, and the sensation of that pain in my finger is short-lived. It happens very quickly. I can feel it very quickly, but it's short-lived. It happens in milliseconds. The messenger that we have is an electronic or electrical thing, which is called the ax potential, right? It goes down the axon until it gets to the end and releases a neurotransmitter. It's very specific. Hey, if I touch something hot here, my leg doesn't go up, right? It's specific to that one area over there. It may stimulate or inhibit something called hormones, which is going to be the major component of the endocrine system. So there's a tight bond between the two that we're going to talk about. But when you really think about the nervous system, it only is going to control two types of cells. It's either going to control muscles, and yes, you're thinking muscles like this, or your muscles of the heart, but keep in mind, we have smooth muscle around intestines and blood vessels, so technically they also control blood vessels and intestines, but it's smooth muscle around there that controls it, constricts or dilates. And the other thing that it will cause is the glands throughout your whole body to squeeze out whatever its secretion is. So that's basically the nervous system in a nutshell. Now let's look and compare to what the endocrine system is. The endocrine system acts very slowly. You eat a ham sandwich, it's going to take some time to get glucose into the bloodstream. Maybe minutes to hours for it to actually get to an optimal level. But it's long-lived. It stays in the bloodstream for hours. Okay? The messenger is definitely a chemical, and we call these messengers hormones. This messenger is going to tell another organ what to do. It's not electrical, it's actually a chemical doing that. It's less specific. When you compare it to the bloodstream, or compare it to the nervous system, it goes into the bloodstream and it just stays in there for hours. So it stays in there for a longer amount of time. And it's less specific. It's going to try and find all its receptors throughout the whole body, not just one section of the body. Some hormones may stimulate or inhibit nerve impulses, and we'll talk about that as we go along, as much as some hormones, specifically epinephrine and norepinephrine, which I think we talked about with the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. But some hormones, specifically these epinephrine and norepinephrine, are neurotransmitters, but they're also hormones. And we'll talk about that when we get to the adrenal gland. Now, teachers around the globe like to ask questions about this, maybe an essay question about compare and contrast the nervous system with the endocrine system, because you can do that, and it's right there on one page, one slide. You should be able to do that. Now, I don't do essay questions, but I could turn this into a multiple choice question, all the following are true except. Okay, a lot of teachers like to compare these two, so just giving you a heads up about this slide is pretty important. Okay? All right. So we have this concept of equilibrium, homeostasis. And your body absolutely hates change. So your body has to fix things. The endocrine system is like your thermostat of your house. Your thermostat is set for, let's say, 70 degrees. If it's too high, it goes up to, let's say, 80 degrees, something's going to bring it back down, God bless you, to 70. If it goes down to 60, something's going to need to bring it back up. Your body hates change, and your body is going to compensate and fix that. This is all owed to the endocrine system going to be doing that. Okay? And it controls things like your body fluids, acid base, temperature, metabolism, a bunch of other factors, blood pressure and stuff. Now, the endocrine system consists of organs and glands that are not connected physically. Now, the digestive system is connected physically. The mouth is connected to the esophagus is connected to the stomach is connected to the small intestine, to the large intestine, the rectum, to the poop scoop, and so forth. It's physically connected. The endocrine system's not like that, unfortunately, or fortunately, just the way it's set up, is that the pituitary gland over here in your brain is connected to my ovaries, which are down here. Not mine, but you know what I'm saying. But it's not connected. It's connected through blood, because the hormones go through the blood. And if you go back to chapter 4 with histology, when we talked about blood, blood is a part of what type of general tissue? Connective tissue. Because blood connects two systems together. Does that make sense? That's why we throw it into the connective tissue realm. Okay? Now, the endocrine glands are what we call ductless. So let me show you. This is a gland over here, and a gland may have a duct to it, a tube, that connects to an outside world. The secretion from here, from this gland, will go through the duct and into this cavity. This is what we call an exocrine gland, because it goes through a duct to a cavity. A good example of this is the salivary gland. You have the gland over here, there's a duct that leads open to the oral cavity. And that's how that works. But that's not how the endocrine system works. In the endocrine system, we have a gland over here, but there is no duct. Instead, the gland rides alongside a blood vessel, right next to it. And its secretion from this gland goes directly into the bloodstream without a duct. You can secrete it directly into that bloodstream. If it happens this way, we refer to it as an endocrine gland. And that's an endocrine secretion. Okay? That should have been reviewed from A&P1. Okay? Now, these are your endocrine glands that we have, at least the primary ones. The hypothalamus, pineal gland, and pituitary gland, these are all found in the brain. You should have known that from A&P1. What we didn't probably tell you in A&P1 is that pituitary gland is actually two glands itself with a wall separating them. You do need to know the difference between the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. All right? Anterior pituitary releases 7 major hormones, and the posterior pituitary releases 2 major hormones. And we'll talk about those later, but there is a definite division between the two. So when asked where this hormone comes from, if you put from the pituitary gland, that's wrong because it's not specific enough. Is it from the anterior pituitary or posterior pituitary? Does that make the difference? Then we have the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland, and the thymus. Don't get confused with the thigh, thigh, thigh. They are 3 different glands. They're all located in basically the throat and chest area. This little prefix called that says para. Para means next to. So these parathyroid glands are located next to the thyroid. That's why they call it that. But they have nothing to do with each other. And the thymus is actually found anterior to the heart. And we'll talk about that too. Then we have the pancreas. It's found underneath the stomach. The adrenal glands, also known as the suprarenal glands because of where they're located. Supra meaning superior, renal meaning gland, or kidneys. This is found just on top of the adrenal glands. I'm sorry, just on top of the kidneys. This too has 2 sections to it that you need to decipher between in all your exams and your studies. There's an inner medulla, an inner core, so to say, and then you have an outer layer called the cortex. There's 2 hormones that come from the medulla and 3 hormones that come from the adrenal cortex. And then we have the ovaries and testes, which we're really not going to spend that much time on here, but we will when we get to the end of the course when we talk about the reproductive system. There's a lot more glands, but we'll talk about those later on. For instance, the heart. Yes, it's cardiovascular, but it releases a hormone, so therefore it's also part of the endocrine system. But we'll talk about those throughout the course as we get to those. But these are the major ones. These are where they're located. Okay? So the pineal gland, the pituitary gland up to the brain. The hypothalamus is not labeled on this picture. Then you have this section over here, and there you have the thyroid. It kind of looks like a little butterfly. It sits on top of the windpipe of the trachea. And this picture is actually wrong because they're showing these pea-like glands on the anterior aspect of the thyroid. They're actually located on the posterior aspect of the thyroid. All right, but I guess they want to show one picture. Then we have the thymus. Again, it sits anterior to the heart or posterior to the sternum. Then we have the pancreas over here. There's the 2 suprarenal or adrenal glands sitting on top of the kidneys. And yes, the kidneys actually release 2 other hormones, so kidneys are part of the endocrine system, which we'll talk about. And this lovely picture of this hermaphrodite, it's got the ovaries and the testicles. Okay? This is another picture showing the same thing, but what I like about this is that they're showing you, like here, the adrenal gland. They're showing you the inner medulla and the outer cortex. You can visualize that a little bit better. Okay? Now this is a close-up of the brain. All right? Here's his nose and mouth, of course. So this is going to be anterior. This is a close-up of this section right here. Here's the hypothalamus. Anterior, it's going to extend anteriorly to this little cherry that has a stem on it. That cherry is the pituitary gland. And it sits in this bony structure that's in the sphenoid bone. But this cup-like area is called a sella turcica. All right? You'll see it bigger on the next slide or so. All right? That's one of the words that you should have learned from A&P 1 when you did your studies on bones. But it sits in there. So you could imagine that if there's a tumor of the pituitary gland, it's going to extend, get bigger against a hard area that can't expand. So you can understand why, let's say, a tumor of the pituitary gland can cause a headache. I don't want people to think, oh, I got a headache, Dr. Gamal says I got a tumor. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that and you'll hear me say this often, that physiology reflects anatomy, that function reflects structure, that it kind of makes sense why you would have a headache because of where things are actually lying over there. Okay? You'll also see posteriorly this area here called the pineal gland, which is also going to release a hormone. It deals with the circadian rhythm and the jet lag, which we'll talk about soon. Now, I got a question. If we needed to remove the pituitary gland because there's a tumor there, what's the easiest way we can gain access to the pituitary gland? I'll give you a little hint. The pituitary gland is over here. You can see this whole area. Close. Close. No, I mean, you got to go. Remember, this is you want to go through the eye. I mean, that's obvious, right? You want to go through someone's eye to get to the pituitary gland. You wouldn't go through the skull. You wouldn't need to go through back here to go this way. You're going to go through all that brain. Well, look, the only thing, here's the nasal cavity, which is a cavity. It's an open area, which you could get through by sticking your finger in your nose, right? There's a big cavity there. Don't do that at home, but, all right? But look, the pituitary gland is away from this open cavity by this very thin piece of bone here. So the best way is to put a forceps through here, and you're going through here, which is basically the sinus. But you're going to, there's that little space over here. That's it. And this, as nurses, as medical professionals, some doctors, as we know, are they don't know bedside manners. So the doctor just explains something to the patient. The patient's now crying. The doctor left the room, and now the nurse is going to help the patient get dressed or whatever, and notices that the patient's crying. Why are you crying? Oh, the doctor says he's going to shove something up my nose and take out a piece of my brain of it. See? I mean, that's right. Maybe not the way you want it. The doctor should explain it. But there, as a nurse, where you're going to show some compassion, you might want to draw a picture and say, well, yes, but this is what's actually happening over here. This is the thinnest area. Oh, thank you so much. So grateful for you. Right? But just understand where things are going. All right? I won't ask you what this is, but actually, well, another word for pituitary gland is hypophysis. You'll learn about that later. So this is what we call a transsphenoidal, trans like transatlantic, going across something. So you're going across the sphenoid bone, and you're going to do a hypophysis. Hypophysis is another word for, like I said, pituitary gland, and ectomy is removal of. Good course for you guys to actually take, if you can, I don't know if the school has it, is medical terminology. All of you are going to the medical realm, so taking that course is going to help you. And then you can break this all up, transsphenoidal hypophysectomy. Well, big word. When you break it up, it makes total sense of what you're doing. Okay? But again, I won't ask you about the name of this. You should know the anatomy, though, why I'm putting that up there. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk about this big word up here. Hypothalamic-Pituitary-Target Axis. It's not as bad as what you think. What's going on here is that we have the hypothalamus, the anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary, and we have, let's say, we'll call this the thyroid. Now what's happening here is this. hormones. And don't worry about the names of the hormones right now, but just get the concept here. There's going to be a slew of different hormones coming from the hypothalamus. All right? There could be something called GNR. Well, let me just start off with this. There's one that could be called the thyroid releasing hormone. Now, here's a little tip for you. There's a lot of hormones you're going to need to know. If you see the word releasing in the name of the hormone or the word inhibiting, you know for a fact it's coming from the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will be releasing inhibiting and releasing hormones. This is called thyroid releasing hormone. That's going to target the anterior pituitary to release another hormone called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And here's a tip for you. If it has the word stimulating, it's coming from the anterior pituitary. Now, I have to also say there are hormones that don't have the word stimulating that also come out of the anterior pituitary. For instance, prolactin. But if you see the word stimulating, you know it's come from anterior pituitary. If you see the word releasing, you know it's coming from the hypothalamus. If you see the word inhibiting, like prolactin inhibiting hormone, you know it's coming from the hypothalamus. Then this TSH is going to target the thyroid to release its hormones, which happen to be called T3 and T4. Okay? And that's what we call the hypothalamic-pituitary-target axis. I could do another one over here. Let's say I want to draw our Dodge Ram, which I think that's where they got the Dodge Ram from, the female reproductive system. Right? But we could have another one, another hormone coming from here called gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonad. Ooh, yeah, I know it has something to do with gonads, right? That's going to target the anterior pituitary to release FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, to target the ovary, and that releases estrogen. Again, hypothalamic-pituitary-target axis. You can see it's getting busy, but get the concepts down. When we're dealing with the anterior pituitary, it always follows this pattern. We can safely say all the hormones that get released from the hypothalamus will all target the anterior pituitary. Okay. All hormones that get released by the hypothalamus will target the anterior pituitary. Now notice I've said get released, not get made there. We're going to talk about two hormones that are made here, but do not target here. They actually go down this little stalk over here and they get stored in posterior pituitary, which we'll talk about. If they get secreted from there into the bloodstream, they will all target the anterior pituitary. So everything I just said is on this slide over here. All right, hypothalamus. All right, stimulates the anterior pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland will stimulate, will release stimulating hormones and go to their target organs. And the target organs, we're going to get into all of that in the next few days of what they do. Okay? So you can imagine it can get busy. Okay? Here's the hypothalamus up there. Here's the pituitary gland, right? Anterior is this orange color. Here's the beige color, the posterior pituitary. And here's the target organs. So we have hypothalamus is going to target its release of a hormone to the anterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary releases TSH to tell the thyroid to release its thyroid hormone. It's just what I did here in green. Another one will come from the hypothalamus, tell the anterior pituitary gland to release FSH, to go to the ovary to release estrogen. I simplified it up here. But that's what we call the hypothalamic-pituitary-target axis. We've got all these other ones doing similar things. Okay? Now, this is just in summary of the hormones, where they're coming from. This isn't all of them, it's a majority of them. But like here, the anterior pituitary, these are all the hormones that come out of there. Here's the posterior pituitary, the ones that are coming out of there. The thyroid, the parathyroid, and so forth. There's some obscure kind of organs, like I talked about. Kidney is going to release hormones. The placenta is going to release hormones. So there's a lot of hormones that we haven't really, there's a lot of glands that you wouldn't think are part of the endocrine system are indeed it. If it releases a hormone, it's going to be a part of that. Okay?